Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. You are all unmuted now. Um, my name's Obsidia. I'm everybody's favorite Death Knight, and I am the DM and author of this campaign and campaign setting, Nexus, Forlorn Legacy. Tonight will be our last stream for a few months, as I will be having surgery soon. But we'll be back after that. But today we're going to go do round the table. We have a bit of a different setup for Lily and Meris due to extenuating circumstances, but they're both here and they're both queer. So we're going to do a round of introductions, do a brief recap, and then hop right in. So first of all, we have Beatrice the Bunny as Feng-chen.
Hello, everyone. It's me, your girl B. When I'm not here, playing the autistic artificer Feng. I can also be found over, you can see the little handle there below my name, where I do variety streams focused on roguelikes, digital artwork, and tabletop RPGs. Digital RPGs too, whatever I can get, really. Speaking of which, there should hopefully be 2 more doses of that this week. Obsidia is going to be one of the players in the next one, coming this Thursday, 6 CST. And then I'll be joining the Meris Aurum Lily Fae conglomerate down there for Comet Tales on 4 p.m. EST Saturday. Got to be here.
Hi, it is your girl, Nafisa, roleplayed by me, real last man, Sif underscore VTuber. I do art, I play games, we've been doing a lot of art. I don't know what the fuck we're drawing, but we've cooked up some nice things. Please go look at them. I'm very proud of my recent painting. That's really all I got. I love you guys.
Thank you, Sif. I was briefly muted for the intro for you, but people got the gist of it. Next up, we've got the combined married couple live in 4K. Meris and Lily playing Soleil and Aurora.
I guess I'll go first then. Hello, everyone. I'm Meris. Ordinarily, I am a story time, literature-loving streamer. However, due to unfortunate, unforeseen circumstances, your boy broke his ankle. So, as I am recovering from surgery, I am taking a break from streaming. So, all of my creative projects are currently on a brief hiatus. We are also in a bit of a funky format because my own streaming setup is on the 3rd floor of our house, which I currently cannot access. So I am downstairs sitting right next to Lily, and we're sharing a mic. So enjoy the combo mashup here.
And I guess I will just go ahead. My name is Lily. I'm playing Aurora in this lovely, funky campaign we've got going on here. Yeah, we are going to be making it work with what we've got, but otherwise, myself, I am basically just a little amateur artist on the internet, doing my best drawing D&D OCs, drawing comics, etc. All that good stuff on a bit of a small break, just because life is quite busy right now. But either way, so if you like any of that stuff, that's what I'm about.
Thank you, Lily. Yes, Meris has breached containment and has invaded the Lily Square. But yeah, I thank you all for being here. Just as once again an announcement, today will be my last stream for at least the next 2 months. I'm going to be having a surgery on October 28th, and I will have limits on face stuff like glasses, so for just an abundance of caution, I will not be streaming for the next 2 months. So this will be my last stream. I'm off to react face off.
It's a fun surgery.
Yes,
though.
It's a good surgery. It's not a bad one. I didn't break my face. I'm just getting my face professionally broken.
I feel like this is a targeted.
But yeah, and so in the meantime, I hope to get some more art done. I'm currently designing the Raven Queen true form, and I know a great artist who I'd like to bring her to life once I get the design down. So look forward to that in the future. Everybody's favorite goth mommy, mostly mine. Yeah. So other than that, previously on Nexus Forlorn Legacy, our brave heroes found themselves in a unfortunate fairy tale by the urban court of Fae, where they were being forced to battle a quote-unquote wicker man constructed of steel and rebar to save some civilians, as well as everyone's favorite awkward German man, and escape the nightmare. All the while being cheered on by a very small draconic-themed boy. They did quite well, fought their way free, and secured a happily ever after. Upon returning to reality, they found themselves in an abandoned shop as if the Fae had never been there in the first place. And then they ran into a associate of the little dragon boy, the paladin Ludus, and his associate, Special Agent Chishi Day, a goblin representative of, according to her, the Federal Ministry of the Interior, and who seems to be some kind of supervisor to Lunas, and it is unclear the full extent of it. She expressed dissatisfaction about the situation, but was going to help ensure that the Fae are dealt with there to prevent other issues in the area. And then Lunas escorted everyone to his parents' house so they could be properly rewarded for being such good heroes, where they went to the great estates at the Montagna di Drago, where Lunas's mothers reside, a pair of dragons who were, upon meeting the party in a very large 9-foot-tall humanoid forms, and they thanked the party for assisting their son. They provided everybody 500 or 750 federal credits, so equivalent gold pieces. They got a special bonus amount because Feng-chen managed to do the correct line when escaping an evil fairy tale, which is that they all lived happily ever after. And explained that they would be open to potentially giving the party more work in the future if the party was willing. They just needed to have a little downtime to think about what to assign the party for an introduction to trust. In the meantime, they said that they would be paying for the party to stay in a hotel for the night while they deliberate. It's the Hotel Buenasera in the upper spires of the city of Venogna. And Nafisa leveraged some photos she took of Lunas to get in the good graces of the dragon moms because they love their son so very, very much. And Feng explained that she wished to have access to the kitchen in the manor so that she could provide some dinner. And so that is where we will be hopping back in at, where you've been dismissed from the Dragon Moms. Lunas has already left the house to go do his thing. And you are now back in the waiting room, where there are numerous kobold butlers and maids about, as well as one fancier uniformed kobold woman in the dark purple and silver colors of this estate. And she has a small somewhat purple scale on her as a badge on her uniform. And she is a mostly humanoid-faced kobold with long, it pulled back into a ponytail, white hair, and she's got a slightly maroon-colored scale / skin coloring to her, and these little bright red eyes. And she, as you learned earlier, was the major domo in charge of the estate. And as you now know, because I wrote a name after the session, her name is Zelik. Karin, and she is waiting, for whatever you guys wish to do next. So we'll start off then with with Feng, since it's your idea to start cooking. Feng, what do you do?
All right. Well, I have not felt comfortable here for more or less since we got here, so I intend to make it feel a little more familiar, a little more understandable. No, she may be aspiring to be this phenomenal political superpower, but rich people are still uncomfortable to be around to her.
Very understandable.
Real.
Oh, so what is the kitchen like here?
Zelik will lead you to the kitchen. It's a very large affair. There's probably maybe a dozen different kobolds who've kind of set up shop there. Currently, they aren't cooking anything. They're kind of just all of them like staring at you as you enter, all their heads turning at the same time. As you see, just a vast, top of the line, ovens, refrigerators, dishwashing stuff, what's it called, burners and stuff everywhere. There's they explain if there is presumably access to a large area of food to go with it, but currently it's mostly in the kitchen itself, like spices and oils and stuff. And Zelik will gesture to the rest of the kitchen and say, "This is our kitchen. If you would like to utilize it, or any of the staff, please let me know. I've been informed that this is indeed a special request that you are authorized to do. Do you have any additional questions?"
Well, I daren't assume that I can necessarily be a head chef, but I will do my utmost to serve adequately. You have the pantry, cold storage here, yes?
Indeed, all of these things are on site. And she gestures to one of the kobolds who's in a more cook outfit, and they approach and bow. "Please lead Miss Wong to wherever food necessities she requires." And the
Many
kobold nods.
thanks.
What'd you say?
Many thanks.
Zelik nods, and she goes, "Is there anything else you'll be requiring in the short term?"
I can't imagine I will need too much else. Will the mistresses of the house be planning to join, or shall I just be cooking for my acquaintances?
No, they will not be joining you. They've ensured that this will be a reserved event for the four of you. The rest of the staff will eat elsewhere and at different times. But I hope that you find these facilities adequate, and if there is anything you require, please let me know.
More's the pity that I cannot share the fruits of my labor with those who would understand it best, but I understand. I would not be so gauche as to impose.
So, is this something you're used to, Fung?
You mean cooking?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh, yes, quite. This is something that my mother taught me to do, and I have been watching her run her kitchen for as long as I can remember. Anytime I wasn't being educated, I would often end up going there just to be able to watch the chefs and the wait staff at work.
I mean, not that I'm ever gonna turn down a good meal, but wouldn't it just be easier if we all went to go get food? I mean, we've got this. And he just kind of eyes like the coins in his hands, like this is still a very foreign thing to him. Just like, I mean, we got this.
It's actually a fat stack of bills.
Oh, gotcha.
Paper,
So,
money, baby.
Yeah, paper money paid edge to the world.
Even stranger then.
Yeah.
That paper has value.
No,
we got this, so,
Soleil.
like-
I want to see what she does.
Perhaps it might be easier, perhaps it might be quicker, but I can assure you, the quality would be very difficult to find. And, you know, if I am to entice you as a group into continuing to be associates of mine, I find putting my best charms forward to be a winning strategy.
Yeah, what she said. Let her cook for us.
Listen,
Let her
far be
cook.
it from me
Let
to
her
get in the
cook.
way of your best charms.
Let her cook.
All right. I think I would start gathering ingredients. I'm going to try to do some fusion cuisine, I think,
Okay.
for this. So let's do one of her mother's recipes. It is combining Pichelsteiner and egg drop soup. So it is a hearty soup with potatoes, carrots, celery, onion, and beef, but it also includes chicken broth, cornstarch to thicken it up, and egg whites that are beaten directly into the soup, which will then cook and thicken as it goes.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah. If I'm gonna play a cook, I'm gotta come to the table with recipes in mind.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, but yes, I cast Mage Hand and just give it my cloak as I start rolling up the sleeves, undoing the clasps that hold the left sleeve on to just give a little more freedom of movement, and I'm gonna get to work. Got plenty of food to chop. I've got things to simmer.
I 100% imagine Fug like basically unscrewing the hand and putting in like an egg beater attachment to her mechanical arm.
Like Long John Silver and Treasure
Yes,
Planet.
like
Silver.
Honestly, I thought it would be too ridiculous, but mechanically, I can make any mundane object into a prosthetic limb. So it is very possible and planned that I will just attach random appliances in place of my hand. So yes, you're absolutely right. It is a whisk, but it also functions like a hand would, so it's able to like constrict and hold on to things.
Do you wish to utilize the kobolds at all to assist you?
Well, I want to make sure that they're able to take care of any of their duties first, and this is unplanned for in their day-to-day plans for service. So, I want to kind of make it clear, like, hey, this is not a required thing. If you feel up to it, if you're interested, if you would like to, you're more than welcome. But, Chef, you are allowed to also rest.
All of them kind of, turn. They look up at you with their big reptilian eyes, and then they turn to look at Zelik standing in the doorway. And she just nods, and then they turn back to looking at you, and, a couple of them start, forming a little semicircle around you of small draconic beings looking up as you cook.
I just am going to start narrating this like this is an episode of The Joy of Mastering the Art of French Cuisine or something.
With the voice and everything.
Now, see, here is where you add in the cornstarch.
I was not expecting a Julia Child, was it?
Yes.
Impression during this session, but here we are. This is why we play D&D live.
Yes, now it's at this point that you want to add the cornstarch and the egg whites. It may make things thicker, but that is why we then use the additional water to keep a balance. We don't want this to become a jelly or a pudding. No, this has to remain a stew, a soup.
I gotta
That's
ask,
a lot of effort.
are we all in the kitchen watching this?
You can. That's up to you guys.
If you want to
Awkwardly
be.
standing in the corner, out of the way of the chef.
She's fully planning on using this to impress y'all. At the very least, with the end result. If you want to be impressed with the process too, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, the kobold cooking staff are all just kind of hoarded up, Fury of the Small style pack tactics on Feng. While Zelik, exits the doorway, and she'll just stand in the waiting room with you guys, just stoically, unless you wish to be in the kitchen or talking to Feng. So,
I imagine Aurora probably feels pretty goddamn out of her depths in there. So she would probably just excuse herself and go to the waiting room and probably just, once again, take out a sketchbook and just start sketching.
gotcha.
I think also, despite being a man of hearty appetite, this is a dude who eats raw meat just because it's more convenient. So I don't think this is his area of expertise either. So
this isn't something that you say at any point, right? Because Feng will have opinions
that is not
if she
come up
learns
yet.
this. Okay.
But I think he will join Aurora and leave Feng, the cooking master, to do her work.
Okay, so Soleil is also waiting. Nafisa, are you going to be in the kitchen or waiting?
Yeah, once that meat hits the grill, Nafisa staying. Or whatever. If there's any sizzling meat, Nafisa is absolutely staying. She's probably gonna stay and watch the whole time.
This, by the way, is a recipe that uses eggs, chicken, lamb, beef, and pork. So if it's if there's a protein, yes.
At one point, while you're cooking the things in different phases, Nyx will slide up, put her claws on the counter, and she'll just casually flick out her tongue like a chameleon and grab a chunk of meat and eat it.
No. If you're going to taste, you have to be very careful not to pick anything too hot. And here, make sure you use a spoon. The mage hand is just carrying over the tasting spoon. It's very important. So important you don't use your main spoon as a tasting spoon. Amateur mistake.
Nyx kind of pulls back a little bit. You hear and you hear Nafisa. It's like there's a spoon coming at me. There's a spoon coming at me.
Nyx, you have thumbs.
She swats at the spoon.
All right, I will leave the spoon there for you. It's just sat there by her.
Because fun fact, Nyx only speaks Draconic.
I
know. So she kind of eyes the spoon after it is no longer flying, but without eyes because she doesn't have any. And then kind of slides over and starts tugging it like a dog on peanut butter. But yes, is there anything else you would like in your cooking, your preparation of the food?
Oh gosh. You know what? It's absurd and it's silly and it's a superstition, which I feel means it has to be something that she's doing as well. She feels like the kind of person to me that when she was learning to cook, there were very specific things that her mother taught her in sort of, this is just like a fun little thing to do. Like, oh, when you're doing this, you have to make sure you're cooking with the proper amount of love. So you have to like say these magic words as you're setting this to boil. Which, on the one hand, still just like a beloved tradition for her, but also still, a little bit, if I don't do this, this is going to fail. So it's very important that I hit it with a proper amount of my heartful intention.
Gotcha.
It's very much that love or beam kind of deal.
I was expecting like Iroh's secret ingredient love, not a full-on maid cafe vibes from Feng.
Like she mouths the words, but you can clearly see like she's forming a heart with her hands and then pushing that towards the pot as it starts to boil.
Yeah, Nafisa's taking a photo of that.
Okay. As far as she was taught, this is professional technique.
Mhm.
This is what it takes to run a restaurant.
All right, so you get your nice picture of Feng doing her moe beam at the soup. The soup will make a cooking check, Feng. I'm just curious.
Okay.
What
What?
ability
I'll say it's
score?
intelligence. It's just intelligence plus proficiency.
All right.
Because I know you have cooking utensils that you know how to use.
Let me just.
This is
That's
pure.
real
The food
fun.
will be made regardless. This is just a rough gauge and quality.
All right.
The Obsidia heat check, yes.
Yeah, it's a vibe check.
All right. What attribute did you say again?
Intelligence.
All right. Okay. I'm one level away from getting expertise with this.
With cooking utensils.
Yes.
That's a good use of skills. I appreciate it.
A whole ass feat.
24. This is controversial opinion, Fung. This might be better than what your mom made.
God damn.
I mentally
soup.
am
Good
slapping
soup.
myself across the face for even considering that.
Yes, correct. However, this is a tough call. If you maybe got 1 point higher, you would be thoroughly confident this is the best that probably has ever been produced in the entire nation of Avalon. But you're fairly confident it's better than your mom's.
Pen, paper. I am furiously note taking. This is the montage that you see in like Hot Fuzz, where they are trying to film all of the super mundane things epically. Got to make a note of all of this.
It's probably some of the best ingredients Fung's ever had, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cook with too.
Oh no, now she's gonna think it's all because of the ingredients. Don't do that, or.
All right. Do you want to personally bring it out, or have the kobolds bring it out?
Well, I can do it.
Okay.
It's pretty heavy. I don't want to force that on people.
The staff have prepared 4 seatings at a incredibly long table. This table probably could fit maybe 30 people at it.
Are we equidistantly spaced, or
no?
is
They
it
put
just
you
like
all near the tip.
Okay, good.
So you're all guys are. You don't have to shout from each other across the table, but yeah, there's places set up. There are kobolds holding various types of wine, various types of like beer / ales, and they are all just kind of standing at the sidelines as Zelik gestures for the other 3 of you to sit at the table.
Well,
Fancy
thank
chair.
you all for waiting. I certainly hope that it is up to your exacting standards.
I mean, I don't know anything about an exacting sense, but I mean, this smells incredible, Fung.
Many thanks. I learned from the best. But yes.
What is it? If you don't mind me asking, I'm not exactly
course
familiar with
not,
this
of
kind of
course not.
cuisine.
This is a mix of cuisine from my father's and my mother's heritage. It is primarily a stew designed for serving to large groups of soldiers to fill them up, translated into a festival food mixed with perhaps one of the most common soups of my father's lands. This is the farmer's livelihood soup. It has been called by my parents. Farmer's livelihood soup with egg.
Oh. Well, looking forward to trying it. It's been a while since I've had something that smells this good.
I'd like to imagine that as Aurora starts trying it, the camera slowly pans to the left with Soleil, Nafisa, and Nyx already having it like in their mouths halfway in.
I'm also definitely
Zero
not going to
decorum.
say that there is half a pound of boneless lamb shoulder in this. I feel like that would not be super sensitive. I don't think you're actually like an uplifted lamb, but it's like, I don't know.
It would be a little awkward.
Is this hidden cannibalism that's happening?
Way in the comments below.
Get in the comments.
I look forward to
Shifting their own kind.
the Feng cancel apology video.
I know it was wrong to feed Aurora lamb. I apologize for my behavior.
Me the player, I fucking love lamb.
But yeah, you guys have a taste, and it is incredible. It's a 24 to cook it. This is probably especially for Aurora. This is the best food you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
Soleil has a difficult comparison because Fey food is generally like the exquisite version of anything, but he mostly just eats raw meat, so he probably has had nothing like this. This is the best you've ever had.
I would say also Ilya was the cook, so she did her best.
Oh no!
Oh no! Grilled cheese.
It's been 100 years.
Kai Shen just putting on the apron, kiss the cook, like he's like neither of his wives can cook.
Man, he may be dead, but by God, can my boy cook? He can do.
But
anyway, y'all should watch Ashes.
Yeah, you should all watch Ashes: The Last War. It's a great campaign that I ran with many of these players. But yeah, so you guys, it's all delish. There are kobolds who provide you whatever beverages you require.
Feng, I gotta tell you, I've eaten quite a few things since my arrival here, but this is, without a doubt, the best thing I've eaten on this plane. So this is hella delicious.
I'm honored. And I can assure you this would only be the first of many meals, should you all consider continuing our little partnership here.
Well,
Hey, listen, you're in if you cook like this all the time. His both of his cheeks are just like full of like the hunks of meat, like soup dribbling down his chin, like.
Yeah, you're joining our party as the cook. Oh.
Nyx has just buried her snout in it.
I went to a few fine dining restaurants back in Lyons, and this is, goddamn, it's up there with some of the best of those.
I sincerely appreciate it. This is a labor of love.
Certainly beats, like, I don't know, the stuff I've been eating for the last year. God damn.
I daren't inquire too deeply on that, lest I try to feed you even more to compensate.
I mean, it was I didn't really have too much money, so most of what I had was just like, simple quick bites from like fast food places and such. So nothing too crazy.
Already starting to notate recipes that she is going to have to feed her.
Oh, but
I
don't worry about me being picky or nothing. I'm not. Trust me, I am not picky. I'll eat goddamn anything you put in front of me. It's just things were as they were.
well, I feel like you certainly deserve to be eating better than that.
Thank you.
And of course, it should be the base standard that you should feel not just entitled to, but by simple virtue of existing, of being able to share in these moments of life that you are all deserving of. At least that is what my instructors have taught me.
I imagine Aurora's just been eating this like kind of pretty formally, while the other two are just chowing down. And,
Oh yeah, Soleil's already got like the bowl like
Yeah.
tipped up to like the edge of his mask, so, like polishing it off. He's already going for seconds. Like
Nafisa's hand has absolutely reached over to other people's plates multiple times tonight while they're talking. I mean, Aurora, if you're not so picky, I mean, maybe you are picky. Maybe I could have just a little.
You want to steal some of this? No, fat chance.
You gotta
You're
eat
eating
faster
so-
then.
No, I mean, look at me. I'm big. I can eat some. I can put this shit away. It's just, I mean, I'm taking my time. I'm savoring the meal. It looks over at Soleil and Nafisa again. I mean,
We're getting seconds, right?
are there seconds?
Listen, he
I
who
look
grabs
over
the
at
fastest
the
gets
very
the mostest.
large pot. I assume these are like pots designed to serve,
30 guests.
dragons.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, yeah. When I'm done with this first bowl, at least I'm gonna shut up so I can eat and get seconds as soon as I possibly can. So let that speak for itself.
It is my pleasure.
Seconds, please.
I'm dolloping them out as quickly as I can with the mage hand and taking the ladle to the glass to sort of ding it in a toast to new beginnings and wonderful partnership ahead. And then resume serving all of this.
Are you eating too, Fang? I mean, like, I could eat more, but you should eat too.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I make sure that I eat as much as I can during as well. The inside of her mouth has been like, it's been trained to be able to enjoy actively cooking and boiling food. From experience, I can say that you build up the heat tolerance so that you are able to eat while cooking as well. It's a very important skill. But yes, she is eating too.
Soleil just chugging hot soup. I got fire resistance, baby. It's all good.
It is okay. I have stone scales, and so it's just the most smooth skinned dragonborn you've ever seen.
I got nothing, but I mean, it's still delicious.
Meanwhile, poor Aurora is blowing the soup in her little spoon. Like
Uses prestidigitation to cool it down.
Yeah.
Real. So it is late. Where are we staying for tonight?
I think they said we got some sort of a hotel arrangement set up for us.
Oh, I have stayed at one of those before. They put you in the stables with the hay.
Uh, are you are you sure about that?
Mm, maybe it's a little different. I don't think there are any stables out here. This place is very big and very metal.
I mean, if anything, that'd be like a hostile situation. But hotels are generally a bit more, well, fancy, I
I
suppose.
think that may have been a stable.
Maybe it's
Well,
a really
yes.
nice stable.
Yeah, it's
I've
very
heard people
comfy.
give birth in them sometime.
Oh, that sounds like one of Jacob's old stories.
Dear God.
Jesus.
Did we just make Jesus canon?
Zelik, who's been standing to the side the whole time with her arms kind of crossed behind her back, pipes up and goes, "When you have finished with your meal and no longer require the kitchen and dining facility, I will have you escorted to the hotel and see that you are settled in."
Do you want some too? And then Nafisa immediately pulls back her own plate. I mean, like, not this one, but
She kind of does a little smile. This is the first time you hear her be anything like other than just consummate
Yeah.
professional. And she goes, "It is an appreciated gesture, but will not be necessary."
Okay. It's really good though.
I can smell that.
Nafisa, how many plates are you on?
You just hear the clinking, and there's like a small little pile next to her.
You see Nyx kind of lift up the face, so there's just a bowl on top of her head.
My dad didn't teach me much, but he taught me to appreciate every bit of food in the world. With that, could I have fifths?
I mean, if we still have any, certainly.
Soleil, how many rounds have you eaten?
I don't think he's counted.
Gotcha.
Because I don't think he would get a clean plate each time. He would just like dunk his bowl in the soup
God.
and like eat it.
I'm gonna say at this point, after how much Nafisa and fucking Soleil have been eating, there's probably enough for one more like round of food before it's gone.
I mean, this is
Sounds
a big
about
bowl.
right.
I think I'm all right with just the seconds. This was a lot of food.
Oh, Aurora, if you don't want it, don't. And she just fucking scoops another plate.
I mean, I'm like a little girl, but I'm. Jesus Christ!
Nafisa and Soleil are just like the Scooby and Shaggy of the gang. Like...
Soleil, is this how you eat in the Feywild?
Oh no. Well, sorta. I mean, usually, we keep things pretty simple. This is considerably, well, I wouldn't say more flavorful because Fey food's kind of different. As far as mortal food goes, this is definitely the most flavorful I've had. But I don't know. We tend to keep things a little simpler in the Wild Hunt, and I mean, like my dad would cook, but usually I just, I do the hunting. I just eat it, like no worries.
Like raw?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I guess I just gotta say, when I think of the Feywild, I think of like some sort of like fancy high society shindig.
Yeah, some of them
And
can be like that.
this whole Wild Hunt thing seems to be quite different.
I feel like I just have to put a concerned hand on Soleil. The mortal world has food-borne illness. If you keep eating like that, you will make yourself sick. This is
No, I've been fine
this
so
is
far.
a promise I have seen
No.
many times before.
so
I
wait,
warn
me
you, this my dread prophecy for you, Soleil.
He's gonna be so
First time
smug
he
when he
gets
has sushi for the first time and it's raw.
Yeah.
Look at this dumb bitch,
Oh, so
doesn't know
this is
anything.
Don't worry,
You
Soleil.
ever heard of some steak tartare?
That's right. That's right.
I'll teach you how to cook like my father did. You make a big fire, and then you put the food on it, and then you take the food off, and it is all clean and safe.
Huh. I'm beginning to realize how different my culture is from everybody's here.
The world is really big, Aurora. And then Nafisa's gonna take the big fucking journal of notes she had from Jacob, just slam it on the fucking table. It is a lot to look. I have a bunch of stories from my aunt and my uncle and from family friends and Jacob, and we're going to see all of them. So you'll see plenty of culture shock, as they say.
Aurora just visualizing dino nuggies amongst this conversation.
Well,
The Epcot ball.
if there is any food you can recall of home, please feel free to let me know. I'm always looking for more challenges.
I mean, I'll be honest. At least in my hometown, my dad's we ate like, I don't know. I think it was like simple stuff. So it's nothing too crazy. Can't remember really any specifics. Just kind of like, well, I remember like some breakfast sometimes.
We could have breakfast tomorrow. Fung, would you mind making breakfast tomorrow?
Not at all.
Breakfast. That's
And
it.
whenever we're on the road, if you want some fresh meat, I can certainly procure that.
I will make very important note of this.
Don't worry, I'll bring it back. I won't eat all of it.
Good. I'm still going to cook it, however.
That's fine. That's fine. You're doing all the work.
I will go hunting with Soleil to make sure he doesn't eat it and get the tummy ache.
And I guess I'll just kind of sit there and do absolutely nothing. I can't cook
No.
to save my life.
Well,
And I
we
can't
will
hunt to save
certainly
my life.
teach you.
I don't really think there's much of a point to doing that.
Why
That's
not?
fine.
I'm sure you could be a adequate hunter in your own right. I'm sure with, your quiet little satyr feet, you could sneak up on prey pretty unsuspectingly.
Clop, 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 clop.
Yeah, the hooves.
Get pregnant, get pregnant, get
Oh
pregnant.
my god,
God
shut
damn
up!
it.
But even if you don't want to cook or help with the breakfast, there are there's like 4 of us, and then soon Lunas will come, and that'll be 5 of us, and we can't all be good at everything. That's why I want a party.
I mean, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. Are you good with with these? And she puts on the fucking bills they just got, and then like random currency she's like slowly collected from other like places she's passed through.
I'm gonna be frank with you, Nafisa. I don't think you want me in charge of our money.
Okay, I just figured it wouldn't hurt to ask because I am not so good at the counting thing, and then I tried bartering earlier, and they did not want anything. They just wanted paper, and I do not understand.
Well, I mean, I understand at least that much, but I tend to be a bit of a impulsive spender. So,
I mean,
you
isn't
don't want me
everything an
handling
impulse?
everybody's money. Well, I mean, yeah, but I buy shit that I probably don't need just because I like it. And I don't think we want me being the one to handle money if that's what I do.
Well, I am certain that there are things that you know quite well that we do not. We can teach you as you can teach us.
Yeah, you can do that magic stuff real good.
Thank you. I think that's that and art is basically the only thing I'm good at, so we'll expand my horizons in that way.
I am going to give you with my not metal hand a gentle but quick little two-fingered rap on the forehead. Now,
Oh.
we cannot be talking so negatively about those that I choose to associate with. I will allow no one to speak ill of my party, including my party.
I mean, I got charms. At least I like to think so.
I think so.
You were really good at
Thank you
talking to
very
the big
kindly.
sturdy ladies earlier too.
Very, very familiar with talking to the big rich folk. And then yeah, charms, magic, and art. That's what I'm here for.
Are you sure you're not underselling us? I think she's underselling us. I think she's going to show more things off later.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling too.
I appreciate your vote of confidence.
Don't worry, I'm sure you'll reveal your secret soon enough. No one's ever wanting to go into adventuring and without any sort of skill set.
Yeah, right.
If that is everything, I will have the table cleaned up, and I can, while that is being done, I can take you to the hotel.
That'd be
Yes.
fabulous. Thank you.
Many thanks,
I-
yes.
Sorry, what?
Many thanks, yes.
She nods. Excellent. Well, please gather your things and follow me.
Mage hand grabs the cloak, puts that back on.
Nyx licks the pot clean.
Is
Just
this okay,
scampers
Nyx?
onto the table and starts licking it.
We will be getting more tomorrow.
I know, but it's good and it's here and it's now. And I'm
Well,
hungry.
now we have her, and she will give us many good here nows. He just points to Feng.
Yeah.
This is all in Draconic.
Yep, you
right?
hear a fairly
Yeah,
huffy
right.
draconic voice going, "Pagapaturi patino mata."
Delightful.
And then it scampers off the table. And once you guys get away from the table, a pack of kobolds leaps into action and starts clearing everything away in what seems to be a very well-trained teamwork. Everyone knows exactly what they are supposed to do in the given situation, and so despite it being a veritable flock of kobolds over this table, they are all never bumping into each other or anything. And Zelik will lead you out of the house. All right. As you leave the estate, some of the lizard folk, the lizard folk guards, will say something in Hydroconic to Zelik, who responds, and they kind of nod. It visibly looked like maybe one of them was going to try and escort Zelik, but Zelik kind of shook her head and kind of did a no thank you gesture. She is rockin' solo, one little kobold versus the world.
For her.
She takes you off of the designated hill for the dragons and into the broader Upper Spires region as a whole, which, as described, this is the ritzy part of town. This is above the pollution layer. There is a lot of plant life here. Still no birds. Very distinctly, there's no birds. More of the mechanical things at the base, and then there's mechanical birds strewn about here, but they actually serve the purpose of being like bird replacements. So they make like these pre-programmed kind of like bird sound effects, and some of them just make music, acting as like a speaker system throughout this area. Um, there are various like fancy people. The cars are much nicer here, but also much less like common. There's actually a fair amount of things that use like coaches with horses or other animals, to lead people from building to building across the various upper spires. Um, Eventually, Zelig takes you to the Hotel Buenos Aires, which is, it's probably about a 4-star hotel. This is not like a Gold Dragon Inn. She didn't take you to the fanciest possible thing ever. But, it's nice. It's probably nicer than any place any of you have ever been.
Mm.
And on the outside of it, all the buildings up here have these, like, beautiful frescoes, like, painted on them. This one specifically shows Feng and Aurora would understand this, but shows an imagery of the goddess Amora, the goddess of community, in the Tetrarchy, but in her aspect of the protector of the lost, which is a common aspect that like kind of like a Saint Gideon kind of thing. It's very common for hotels and stuff to have some small shrine to Amora, in that, as it shows her basically casting light away from a very like writhing darkness, protecting various faceless people behind walls, and providing safety and succor to them. And just this beautiful painting all along the outside of this hotel. And yeah,
Oh no, I was just going, well.
Aurora's probably internally clocking it and planning to spend some time like looking at it and sort of, learning techniques, etc.
Gotcha. You she leads you into the hotel, where she will speak to a concierge for a moment, and then the concierge kind of looks at you guys, looks back at her, she speaks a bit more, and the concierge kind of nods, and the two of them approach you guys. The concierge is probably maybe like a 5'8", 5'9", human male, wearing like a very well done suit. And he will, kind of give you guys a big smile and say, "I've been informed that that you are special guests here for the days, and I would like to personally welcome you here on behalf of our establishment. I will have the staff arrive shortly, and they will be able to take you and your things to your rooms. If you have any questions, please feel free to let them know. Currently, all of your room and board has been covered, and I hope you enjoy your time at the Hotel Buenos Aires."
Buenos Aires. She's like taking notes so that she doesn't like forget or get lost.
None of you speak the Umbrian dialect of Common, so
Oh.
the words don't necessarily hold any great meaning to you, but it is very distinctly what is probably their specific dialect.
Alright.
Well, thank you. I do think that I'm probably gonna head out for at least a little bit, just to make sure that I get what I came here for, to be honest. So I guess I'll see you guys in the morning or something.
Oh, where are you going? Or maybe we should go together, like don't split up, that sort of thing.
I mean, I'm kind of just gonna do a little wander through the artistic district and get some paint and supplies and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. I understand. No worries, Aurora. We'll see you later.
Yeah, all good. Probably gonna grab a drink later. So if any of you want to come by the bar, that's where you can find me. Few hours.
Noted.
Excellent. Staff will come, show you to your rooms. They're nice. It's a 4-star hotel. The end.
Wow.
Give us the room layout.
I am not giving you a room layout. Google a Hilton.
Is there a cuck chair?
Oh, of course there's a cuck chair. What hotel room would not have a cuck chair?
It's mandated.
Yeah, in your fucking, your Marriott, there is there's your cuck chair ready to roll. But as you all go your separate ways, Zelik will kind of bow a bit and say that she will be arriving here tomorrow. Tomorrow, like at sunset, to gather you for potential work if you all are interested. You can refuse her, and only the people who actually wish to do it can join her. But otherwise, she will see you then.
Right.
So, first of all, we've got Aurora, sheep in the city. What do you do this fine time in Venogna?
Yeah, so I imagine sort of like what I was describing, just from before as well. Essentially, it's not too often that she goes like deep into a city in the
Yeah.
last few years that she's been traveling, mostly spending her time sort of out, basically in the wilds, just drawing the landscapes and stopping by like towns and cities to try and to stop by to get art supplies essentially and see if she can sell any of her work. So, with that in mind, knowing that Venogna is, obviously a very, very big and very populous center, is definitely going to try and search out the cultural district. Because that's likely where she's going to find the best in terms of supplies, but also to study some of the local architecture, as well as just any sort of, if there's museums or whatever, just kind of take a look through and just do her best to keep up her studies as well as she possibly can.
Awesome. Okay. As you head to the cultural districts of the Upper Spires, you see, adjacent to that is the Grand Palace, the most serene palace where the Doge of the city resides, along with her staff and family. The cultural district itself contains the numerous artistic houses. There's much like what you would expect from not the like a design district of like most cities. There's various kinds of high-end stores, very avant-garde places as well, studios. The cathedral to the Tetrarchic Host is located here as well. This huge four-pointed star-shaped building of this very like I would say it's like neo-baroque in its architectural style, and it is very much at the center of the district, as if everything kind of spread around that. As you kind of look through it, you see various high-end artistic types that you are very familiar with from your time in Lyon, as they are talking to each other as well as to various like fancy people and fancy people's staff who are doing things throughout the area. As you pass by the cathedral on your just kind of idle explorations, you see there is a bit of there's statues throughout the district. One of them is a very like tall like sword and shield bearing harpy woman who's kind of just like rising triumphantly forward. And it is dated to a previous doge of the city from about 2 centuries ago, made out of bronze. Like, you know, if you've ever been in like New York or like DC and stuff, you see all the bronze statues around. It's like one of those. To one of the older members of the Ricci family. And then in front of the cathedral itself, you see that there is a very tall, appears to be newer, it's a composite statue of, I say composite because it involves several different types of stone. It is a figure of a tall male humanoid holding in his right hand, like up into the sky, a like thing of light that is made of like white marble with gold inlaid into it. And he is not looking up at the light, he is looking down with his left arm like reaching down with that same kind of light emanating from it, which is banishing a set of like very much like black marble that seems to be like a motif of darkness. And he is wearing a long lab coat with various like chemical symbols on it. And he's got a smile as he reaches into the darkness bearing light. And it is a statue. You see that there's a little placard next to it that says it is a statue of Cognitius, the great inventor, the great scientist, the great discoverer. And as you know, as somebody who grew up in a tetrarchic country, Cognitius is the god of ingenuity, and in Erixia, he is generally viewed as the god of knowledge and magic. But here he is being venerated as a kind of engineering scientific being, which is kind of odd to you.
I think, taking a second to look at this more closely, since it is she has spent a lot of like the past 5 years in the UFAS, but still the difference in portrayals of the tetrarchal gods is definitely something she would take a very big note of, and just kind of sort of taking a look at this one, which seems to be more new. She's interested in sort of like seeing who is this person that did this, and why we're like, if she knows who they are, etc., just to sort of like kind of get a good grasp of everything, just so that way she can kind of continue to just build her knowledge pool.
Yeah, you see that in addition to the plaque identifying the god, there is also a note in the second largest font next to the name of the god himself, which is donated by Doge Aria Ricci on the day of her what's the word I'm looking for? Her rising to the throne, being elected as the Doge of the city. Yeah, coronation. Her coronation as Doge of the city. About probably a few years ago, and you see it is by the sculptor Verity Fontaine.
And is that a name that Aurora is familiar with?
Aurora is not familiar with that name at all. But they're a very talented sculptor, whoever they are.
Yeah, she definitely writes down the name and begins to look into it a little bit closer. But is surprised that, given the new status of it, that she would not have heard of the sculptor, especially coming from one of the basically meccas of art.
Yeah.
So, but she'll kind of take a second looking at the statue and just write down a bunch of notes, as much as she possibly can, about the composition of it, and just kind of tucks it away before walking on.
Wonderful. As you walk away, you will eventually find yourself to your art supply shop, there is a gnome, a female gnome, who is operating it. I don't know how much you wish to engage with the merchant for your supplies, or if you just wish to say you acquire more supplies.
Yeah, I think mostly just acquire more supplies.
Okay. So you acquire more supplies, and then as you leave, at what point do you wish to have a heart-to-heart?
Yeah, so I imagine she just kind of will do what she needs to do, and then just sort of take a seat down, probably sort of in the square of that sort of like tetrarchal center, and just kind of look around. And she'll just make sure that she's got a good amount of space between herself and basically anybody else,
Mhm.
so that way she can kind of just have the conversation and just she knows that she doesn't have to look or anything, and we'll just kind of just be like, so well, here I guess we're taking a little bit of a detour from our little grand adventure around the UFAS.
Uh,
um
as you
do
sit on
you
a bench, I presume,
Mhm.
you're sitting at a bench. It's sunny out. The shadow is cast, and you see at your feet a pair of violet eyes looking up at you from your shadow.
do you think this is the right decision?
It seems like a more secure decision.
Right, we do need some security.
They seem capable. They seem like they could provide additional protection to you.
I think that's for damn sure. It's just not something I'm used to. It's been a while since I've had the companionship of others. Other than yourself, of course.
I was about to say this, the eyes just stare at you, not reacting. But they could perhaps be a key to new experiences.
We had plenty of those in college, but
Hey, yo.
but I even though for all the folks that we kind of, or that at least I kind of hung out with during college, I always really appreciate how you always had my back, Nethris.
I will always be here for you. I will always protect you.
Do you ever wish you could take a bit more of a, or could walk alongside me or anything like that?
I do not know if it would be more dangerous for you if I were to manifest like that.
I suppose. I suppose that's right. Considering, like, I mean, Soleil apparently like a hound of the wild hunt or something like that. Having another like true fae might be a little weird. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you weird or anything like that.
It is fine. I know that I am not weird, but it may at times be better if I can remain as an element of surprise for your enemies.
Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate everything, and of course, I know. I'm sure the Raven Queen knows how thankful I am. I just wanted to say it. And I'm not like changing anything. I'm still going to be drawing as much as I can. So, you know.
You feel like a sensation. It's not like warmth per se, but you feel like kind of like a pressure around the bottom of your body and like your back and stuff, like everything that's basically casting a shadow, as you feel just a presence you're familiar with of like Nethris pressing in on you, and the you hear her voice like right at your ear as she says, "Everything you do is adding so much additional light to her world, and the art you create is truly one of the greatest things that you could provide this world as well."
Yeah. No, it is. It's amazing how much you've helped me, both you and the Raven Queen. So, just as ever, I really love that we're here.
I am pleased that I get to be by your side. We both wish to see you succeed in everything you pursue, and
Uh,
we know you
yeah.
will.
I will. You're damn right. I think I'm gonna start to head back to the hotel now.
Understood. And you see the violet eyes blink out of your shadow, and it's just a normal shadow again. And are there any final thoughts before you get up and you finish off your section?
I don't think so. I think the main thought that's sort of going through her head is just what's the next piece that she wants to give to the Raven Queen, since she's feeling very happy.
All right. As you get up off of your bench and start walking away, you run into Nafisa.
Oh, that's me.
What are you doing in the cultural district?
Nafisa would have like turned a corner, but like between the buildings. I'm assuming with the more traditional buildings, with, like wood tops and like flags hanging in the air between them all.
Mm-hmm.
And Nafisa with like a paper bag full of stuff with Nyx also just like draped in random shit. Bread in her mouth, just turns to her left, sees Aurora, and immediately starts rushing over, waving. Aurora, Aurora. Spits the bread into the bag. Aurora, hi, 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 hi.
Oh, hi, Nafisa. What brings you to the cultural district?
Well, I was kind of bored in the hotel. There's not really much to do there but like sit and people watch. And then I tried taking a photo, and then an employee yelled at me, so I left to go take photos. And then I saw things on sale, and I bought things. Like, look, and she'll put the bag down, pick up Nyx, who's got like a fancy necklace now with like claws on it.
Oh, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The shopkeeper said the same thing, and then I bought more.
I mean, you do realize that she could have been like kind of manipulating you into buying more just out of flattery.
But it, she said things that made me feel good, so I did things that made her feel good, yeah?
Like that's by definition flattery, Nafisa.
Well, yeah, but is that a bad thing? I mean, we were doing that flattery thing to the dragon moms, to Lunis's moms, right?
I mean, yeah, we were, I suppose, but it's. I mean, it's just. It's besides the point. You seem to be having a good time though, coming out here.
Yeah, it is good to distract myself out here, It's been a long day of pasta and being set on fire, and she's still got like the burn scars and like the bandages around them.
Yeah, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just today started off a lot more aggressive than I would have expected. That's okay.
I mean, you were literally like A on fire, B getting tossed around in some like horrifying fey monstrosities like I don't want to call it a stomach, but I guess that's the best word I got for it.
Yeah, it was definitely his stomach, but I think. Mm, do you want to sit down and talk?
I mean, sure. I was about to head back to the hotel and
Oh, we
yeah,
could talk and walk then. You did want to go to
yeah,
the bar to drink, right?
yeah. That's a bit further down the line. Probably. I'm gonna get back, get all my things in order, and then go sketch a little bit as I do, and then
Ooh.
you
Is
know.
that sculpture outside catch your eye?
Oh, which one? The one at
Uh,
Cognitius?
I don't know. The big fancy one outside the hotel with like she's like
Oh,
It's not
mimicking the
outside the
that
pose.
one.
hotel.
Oh no, my bad, my
It-
bad.
It's
it-
outside the cathedral in the cultural district.
Cathedral, excuse me. Excuse me.
yeah, I mean that one. It's really something.
Mm,
Do you buy any? I mean, I know you do like your pictures or something like that. Do you do any other kind of art?
mm, it's art is really important back home. We value color a lot, so there's a lot of different things. Like my aunt, she runs like the bakery, like the big place with all the stoves for people to come and bake bread, and they weave all these intricate patterns into the bread, and then it tastes really good. Um, and my sister really loves fashion. She's still on her journey weaving and spreading her brand, I think she called it. She picked up a lot of fancy words when she came back.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. This statue here, it's done by someone named Verity Fontaine. Gorgeous work. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for anything that she does, either around this city or in any other city that we go to. So keep that little head, keep that in your noggin right there.
Verity,
Okay?
Verity got that, and she's gonna take her
Mm-hmm.
notes on highway fare in her book. We'll probably meet her. I mean, we're going around, and if we like her, we can take her in our party too.
I mean, I don't really think we're gonna have much chance to um, engage with the high society or anything like that.
Oh, come on, Aurora. It's our party's first day, and we've already met two amazingly powerful people.
You're not
Give it a
wrong.
little
You're
bit.
not wrong. I never
Besides,
really had any good experiences with them back home.
neither did I. I met a few kind of important people, but they were just coming to see my dad.
I mean, back in college, there are a lot of folks that went to the art university in Lyons. Whew, there was a lot of rich people there. I mean, they were an easy lay, but other than that, nothing really to write home about.
You mean like to play cards with, or
Oh no, sweetie, not to play cards with. I'll be a crude. It's fine. I don't really care. Having sex with them,
oh,
having
I see.
flings. You
Oh, do
know,
you want a here? Do you see the symbols on me?
uh, I do see the symbols on you. I can't say. Is there a meaning behind them? I thought they were just
Yes,
patterns.
yes, they all mean something. They're called kilim, and I could make you a little ram one if you want.
I mean, that sounds pretty cute.
Yeah, it stands for fertility. So I thought, since you mentioned
Yeah,
sex.
no, 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 no. It's trust me, it ain't about that side of things. It's
Are,
more about. Uh, listen, I literally no, it's not that.
okay, I think it would fit you really well, but
I mean, the
okay.
fact that
You
it's a
change.
ram is kind of like is. I don't
There's a
really know
sheep
what to
one
take
too.
from that. What does the sheep one mean?
Also fertility. There's a lot about like making yourself available. The
No,
ones
I
I'm
don't.
wearing are about strength and warding off evil.
I like those ones better, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but
I'm
they're
not exactly ready to
dragon.
be ready to. Oh God, no, none of that shit.
It's okay. I'll find something more fitting then. Don't you worry. But
Okay, sure.
I wanted to ask: are you fine with us being in a party?
Why do you say that?
Well, to be honest, I didn't expect things to go off so smoothly when I asked the three of you to hang out with me.
I mean, I've been doing it alone for the last year, but I mean, that was a hell of a lot of money. So I I could use the money.
Oh, then here. And then she fucking, Nafisa will hand over the 300 UFAS credits left over from her spending.
Oh, no! Don't you don't need to do that. I don't want to take any charity from anybody. Not again.
Mm, okay, but it's not charity. I mean, you do magic, you fight with me, we work together, we share the money.
Well,
We shared
yeah, but
food, we
it's an
shared
even
bed
750 for
space.
each of us. No, don't say it like that. We're not that friendly yet.
I mean, if we become a party, we need a base, right? And if we get a base, we gotta, isn't the house really expensive? Jacob told me that it could take years to save up enough for, bedrooms for each of us, and I want a really big party. Like, I'm talking 8, maybe 9 people at least.
I mean, I can't say I know anything about real estate, but I mean, we're in capitalism, so yeah, everything's fucking expensive.
Things were simpler back home, but,
Things were
meeting people
simpler back
like
home
you
for
were,
me too.
yeah. But meeting people like you and Feng and Soleil and even Stinky Lunas. It was worth it.
You're really sweet.
Thank you. That's what my auntie says.
uh, well, I don't I don't want to just quote your auntie. It's just you bring this real nice positive vibe to the party. And I
Mhm.
mean, it helps. It really does. Especially when folks like myself are not exactly used to putting myself into mortal peril on a regular occasion.
Well, we don't have to do that every adventure. And if you are ever finding that you are low, let me know and I will give you the uppies, as they say.
The 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 uppies.
Lift you up, give you uppies? My uncle told me to say that to him whenever I was feeling sad.
I mean, sorry, my mind kind of went somewhere else. Um, but I mean, that's no. I'm sure you can lift me very easily.
I am very strong. We should be getting back, yeah?
Yeah, you can. You don't have to walk me home or nothing like that. I can get home by myself.
I'd like to.
Well, then who am I to refuse the kindness of a lady?
And then
Please.
Nafisa's going to offer to take Aurora's hand, the same way Aurora mentioned in the first session, and they will walk back to the hotel.
Okay.
Assuming that's all cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hoggies.
you drop off Aurora at the hotel. Nafisa, do you wish to walk the mean streets of Venogna?
I do not. I know the kind of drinking at the bar is not good for the pretty little flower like me, but if Aurora needs me, I will come back running. I will go walk some more. I have plenty more photos to take, and Nafisa definitely took a photo of Aurora walking down the streets ahead of her for a little bit. It's gonna go in the folder of things I need to draw fan art of.
As you kind of aimlessly wander through the city of Venogna, you work your way back to the lower spires, back through the pollution layer, where the hustle and bustle of the city is, omnipresent. There's a bit of a shock when you get back to it after spending a few hours in the upper spires, where everything's clean and smells nice, and there's birds singing, as opposed to down here where it's honking and people shouting and trolley fucking bells and all that goodness. But as you and are wandering about, you do actually see perhaps the only example of like real meaningful like plant life in the lower spires. You actually see some trees in like deeper into the western part of the city, in the lower spire area. You see some trees poking out from amidst several like high rise apartments and stuff around the area.
Yeah, Nafisa's like definitely like pocketing whatever leaves she can get into her scrapbook. This is a rarity for her.
All right. As you approach that, you actually see through the crowd, because they're very obvious to see. You actually see Feng-chen approaching the same site as you.
I did the exact same thing with Aurora. I'm gonna wave like crazy. Oh, Feng! Feng, speak to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I would notice that.
The 6-foot woman, yeah, waving at you.
Yeah, a little bit. It is very good to see you again, Nafisa.
Always. What are you doing here? I was following like the streets when I saw dirt, and I was like, oh my god! And now there are trees.
Well, I, as someone who is working in the field of alchemetics, I have taken a great admiration for the Vanyaska people's work, even though it is rather limited to just practitioners. I feel there's still something I can learn from it. I would never turn down a chance to learn a little more about what I can bring to the world.
I have to. Yes, the Vanyaskin culture is so pretty and strange. I love their entire their picture, their aesthetic. And Nafisa will bust out like the little like trinkets she's collected from like the limited exposure to Vanyaskin culture, like the circuit coins that Obs mentioned during the Nafisa origin session. If you want to look it up,
That was a good callback to the Nafisa origin session that you can watch on YouTube.
They've got such a it's strange, like the way metals and stuff work back home. It's kind of reminiscent, but here it's like the metals are speaking back. Do you want to look around, see if we could maybe find anybody that could tell us more nice things than what we've seen?
Certainly, I think that would be very nice. I also at this point, I feel like Nafisa, being a ranger, would not have particular difficulty recognizing her regardless, but there's definitely a sense that this is Feng with her metaphorical face-off. There's a story I remember hearing about how Marilyn Monroe could go out and not have anyone bother her just by adjusting for posture and changing how she did her makeup. This is Feng when she is not actively trying to be Feng.
Yeah, you can't hide that shit from Nafisa. She has you and the entire party on download. None of you can escape.
Yeah, but no pretenses, no no airs that she's putting on, just yep. She is still just as awkward feeling as ever. You can find out about that if you go to Obsidia's YouTube and watch Feng's origin story.
I'm gonna plug everybody again tonight.
Yeah. As you guys approach the trees, you see that like across the street from this is a fairly large like set of nature that's very much done like in a kind of wall of like naturally intertwining like branches and leaves with a entryway that kind of just forms out of it. And across the street from that area, you see that there is a gnome with like cybernetic legs that are stylized like rabbit legs, and his hair is like hedgehog spikes of metal. And he is wearing a little like green robe as he is currently cleaning off of a wall opposite of the trees. What looks to be the words "make perception checks."
Okay.
Yay!
To get you an
the
idea of
first
how
roll
much...
of the night. Oh wait, second roll. Sorry, my bad.
Nope. That's a
21.
3 for me.
Okay. So, Feng is, she's mask off right now, so she's not as much paying attention to it. But Nafisa, you see the words that basically seem to be "fuck Kimmies" in like graffiti paint on the wall opposite of the grove, as this gnome is scrubbing away at it.
If you're Kimberly, get the fuck out of here.
Not
We
a
don't
single
want you.
Kimberly tolerated.
Get out of here, Kimberly.
Is that Fung? Is that Vanyaskin art? It looks like it doesn't really look like it, but it's here.
I don't know. I feel like it probably isn't something that they want here, at least judging by. Yeah. Let's go on over and see. Excuse me. Would you care for any assistance, sir?
As you ask that, I will allow Feng to make a history check, because this is something you might have come into contact with.
That is an 11. Just rolling low today.
You're not totally sure. This was a 15 to be able to learn this particular derogatory phrase.
Don't forget,
roll for slur.
Ass soup.
Yeah, roll for slur.
The world building.
Oh no.
The gnome kind of turns to look at you, and you see that he's got these very much like there's thin like wires running through his skin up along his cheeks up to his head, and down presumably to probably the augmented legs he has. As he looks up at you, his eyes are a bright blue, and it identifies him as he's probably a Winter Court lineage rock gnome. And he has once he's turned around, he has a symbol around his neck it's a cog, like a steel cog, and at the center of it is a blue snowflake, which Fung definitely knows is the symbol of the Vanyaskin religion / culture nation. And
I'm leading with the augmetic first, like sort of waving. They're like, "Hey,
I'm one of you."
Yeah, he looks at your he looks up at your arm because he's a gnome, and he kind of nods and he does a slight bow as he reaches out with his because it's your left arm, so yeah, he does his arm to yours, and you see more of the wires kind of running through his skin. They're very much, it's almost in a kind of like animal pattern is the way the wires flow, as if it would be a fur pattern on something that had fur, but on a person it just kind of looks like these particularly kind of naturalistic designs. And he looks up and goes, much appreciated, travelers, as he looks kind of at the two of you. Unfortunately, this is probably something that the faithful should handle. I would not wish to drag in lay people into, our affairs if it's not really of importance to you.
On the contrary, I am, while not a member of your esteemed faith, I am a practitioner of alchemic medicine, and I certainly see no reason to, if you're worried of it being complications, I certainly see no reason to think of it any deeper than assisting someone who has a unwanted chore.
Kind of smiles a bit sadly and goes, "Well, then I will not turn you down. I will appreciate your assistance. I unfortunately have to do this far too often. And if you have any like magic or anything that could help clean, feel free to do that. Otherwise, you can scrub away."
If I use fog cloud and let it condensate, would that?
No.
Yeah. Invisible scrub.
Is there a mop?
Yeah, he's got like various cleaning things of like water, soap, and scrubbery.
Okay. Hand
telling me Fung
unscrewed.
doesn't have the all-intensive dishwasher set in her prosthetics?
Yeah.
No, but hand removed. I put the end of the mop, so I now just have a like 6-foot long arm on one side that ends in a mop. And yeah, let's start going.
All right.
I mean,
Nafisa.
two things. One, you could just put the mop head on there too, so it looks more like you're scrubbing, and so it's easier.
Oh
And,
yeah,
secondly,
but I
am
don't know
taking
how
a
high
shot.
I need to reach.
Nafisa is. Well, I mean, Nafisa can pick you up, but also
it's
Nafisa is taking
spray
a shot
painted,
of.
like it's not like super high up.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, I can just use a head.
Nafisa's
Loop my
absolutely
hand.
taking a shot of hard-working Fung with sweat. Fan art for later into the folder.
Okay.
And yeah, after a bit of time, you guys all working together can scrub it all away. So there's this like random like clean spot on the side of one of these buildings. And the gnome kind of looks up at you guys and goes, "Thank you so much for assisting me. It truly is a sign that the goddess is favoring my work this day."
Of course. One
Was
should
that-
not be picky in the good that they do, whether it be for relative, fellow acolytes, acquaintance, or complete stranger. If one sees the chance to do good, one should.
Nafisa is making a mental note of the amount of times the word good was used by Fung versus what happened during pasta night. Did the goddess also mention anything about maybe a little treat for doing good work?
He kind of looks at you guys and looks at Nyx and goes, "The goddess did not mention anything, but perhaps she can work through me then." As he smiles. He's got a couple, like, some of his teeth have been replaced by, basically like bits of what probably silver or metal, like replacement teeth, as he smiles and goes, "Where are my manners? I am the deacon of the grove. My name is Enzo Ascari, or Ascani. Sorry, Enzo Ascani."
Enzo Ascani. Hi, I am Nafisa. This little friend down here is Nyx.
And I am Feng-chen Wong.
Well, it is a great honor to meet you, Feng-chen, Nafisa, and Nyx. Nyx is much more closer to head height on him. um, if you would like, I can escort you into the grove, where I think we can provide some treats as thanks for your service.
Ooh, I've never had Vanyaskin food before. Sounds really good.
He kind of chuckles and goes, "Well, I'm not super familiar with Vanyaskin cooking. I'm from Venogna."
Oh, I am so sorry.
A convert, then?
uh, Indeed, I converted about 20 years ago.
Oh.
But that is a long story, and I don't want to tire you all with it. I'd be happy to show you into the grove and get you some treats, and maybe if she's available, the bishop can see you.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I would be honored. I've been looking for a way to ply my trade, and if your outreach services seem to be so hampered and harried by harassments, perhaps I could be of assistance.
Oh, by like trade, are you like a merchant Fung? Like you sell the things you make, like the food?
Oh, not particularly. No, I, by trade, am also a augmeticist. If someone is missing something, I replace it. It is not nearly as integrated or as pristine a system as, I must say, your faith has truly excelled at, but it is still functioning to a high degree of standards nonetheless.
Oh, so you want to like make arms for people? Oh, and then Nafisa's gonna like open the book and start drawing, and then like you can see this really crude, like childish drawing of like a building of sorts. It's probably Nafisa's ideal base, and she's like quickly sketching in like a big box and writing arm place above it.
Well, that is a wonderful thing. I can see by the craftsmanship of your arm that you have quite a deal of skill. I do not know how to do the blessings myself, but the bishop, she is quite skilled at such things, and she did all of my own augmentations so that I can get closer to transcendence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to speaking with her as one artisan to another.
Of course, of course. Well, forgive my manners. Please follow me. As he walks through the entryway in the kind of the branches that form around this area, and as you follow him, you notice now that you look closer, Fung would have basic knowledge of this just because of her passion for Vanyaskin things, but the as you enter the grove itself, and you see that all of the branches are there's like steel or some kind of metal that flows through all of the branches and leaves, And you know that the bigger versions of these they're called cablewood trees. They're a kind of biomechanical tree that Von Yaskins cultivate that forms like the basic structure for their particular styles of holy places. The various cables flowing through it have these kind of like naturally occurring kind of attachments put onto them that seem to be interfaced with various vines that you know are called wirewood vines that seem to be powering various forms of lanterns and lights that are intentionally styled like bioluminescent, like flowers or mushrooms, but appear to be definitely a mix of, mechanical, electrical, and organic. And once you get into the grove itself, you're actually surprised by two things specifically. One, this air is not polluted, unlike the rest of the lower spires around you. And two, it's actually temperature controlled. It's summer currently in Venogna, and so it's pretty hot and humid outside, especially considering how there's really no other plant life naturally occurring in the lower spires. But in here, it's actually a very pleasant coolness, as you see that there is very much like it's styled like a natural grove of plant life. There is a pond set up in it. There's various flowers and grasses, and you see that there are like dozens of different animals just kind of lounging about. In particular, there is what seems to be very like local animals, presumably to the area. So you see things like there's like a raccoon that has these like augmetic, like cybernetic eyes, kind of sleeping. There is a large augmented boar that has razor spines along its back and metal tusks that is laying next to the pond. That a couple of rats have actually kind of settled on top of, that have like very very minor changes to the rats, and there is also just a large like wolf that has been half of its face has been changed into a cybernetic augment, where its eye is now just like a blue, like kind of a blue eagle eye, and several of its teeth, like in the left side of its mouth, are now entirely steel, as well as one of its back legs has been replaced by a cybernetic augment. And there's probably, I don't know, maybe like a couple dozen people who are, move through the area, and you see them making various prayers. Some people leave small offerings at some designated sites, which you can tell they're designated because they have a very specific kind of blue-white light over that kind of is cast over certain stones, which seem to be fitted specifically so people can leave things there. And then there's various kind of stone openings, which you can see very thin lines of what appears to be geothermal energy flowing into. And and welcome to the Venonian Von Yaskin Grove.
Oh my goodness! Nafisa's camera has not stopped flashing.
Oh. It is so different being able to see this properly up close. Oh. Just hand to her heart. Deep breathing in. Oh. Impeccable. Simply impeccable.
Mr. Enzo, is it okay if I just take some of the plant stuff here to put in my little book?
We would prefer if you not take anything from the grove, please.
Okay, I understand. I will simply take photos.
We appreciate your understanding in this. As you can see, this is one of the few places that's allowed to be natural in this city, and we like to try and preserve that and help foster and strengthen it.
Especially with how like the air outside is stinky. I would like this place to grow bigger.
Would that I was not already spoken for in terms of faith. Truly remarkable.
I mean, couldn't you do two?
Not quite. It is the afterlife is not something you can split between faiths.
I mean, yes, but couldn't you explore other cultures? I mean, that's the entirety of Jacob's job, and I mean, he did some religious stuff at my home, and then we did religious stuff at other people's places as we went through the Eastern marches.
Oh,
Like,
without a doubt. It is more to say that this is a vast network of incredible technology mixed with natural occurring life that I could not get Vanyaskin augmetics involved in myself, though. It is too integral a part of the personal faith and culture. I will, of course, learn as much as I can. That would be foolish of me not to.
I was confused by your words. I see. Well then, don't let me stop you. I will watch and take notes on whatever you do here.
Enzo will kind of pipe up and be like, yes, we of course do not mean to shamelessly prophesize to you, but we always welcome anyone into the faith who is willing to take on the responsibilities that come with it. But we are very understanding of the unique situations around goblinoids and your desires to not be separated from your families, even if it means that you would be joined with a different community. But we are still thankful that you are understanding and that you are open to learning more of our ways.
Of course. If it were not for the fact that there may come a time when another is born into my clan, such as I was, then I may consider it, but such a hypothetical deserves to have at least one ancestor that knows what it's like.
Smiles and nods and goes, entirely understandable. He looks up at Nafisa as he was walking through the grove, and goes, I take it though that you are less familiar with some of the tenets of our faith, Miss Nafisa.
I mainly have just watched people mainly have just watched Vanyaskins and like seen their architecture. I don't really know much about the faith.
He smiles and goes, well, then I would be happy to educate you. Vanyaska is a goddess of industry, and she believes that to create and to work are some of the greatest things you can do in this world, and that we can achieve a state of transcendence if we can properly unify the natural with the strength that comes from hard work and industry, the perfection of the self. So whenever, things or people get injured, we seek to try and improve them. Like these animals, or myself. To make a very long story short, I had actually lost my legs when I worked in one of the factories, and the bishop saw fit that upon my willingness that she was able to provide me with a sacred root and install a new set of legs so that I could be better than I was before.
So you improve, but did you need newer legs?
I did not have any legs at the time.
Oh, sorry. Words are hard for me. Yeah, I slipped up on that.
Some do seek to gain increased balance of their own volition, but that is less common and generally more involved for the druids themselves.
I see. If I'm ever missing a limb, I guess I know where to look. I mean, looks down at Feng after she's learned everything from here, I guess. Has Feng already taken measurements of the party mentally?
No, I would never.
Anyway,
she is smiling though.
As he leads you to one of the stone recesses, you're in kind of like a complex of like where you don't need wooden planks if the wood just grows in a plank-like way. As there is seemingly a structure built within this stone area of just there is plants that have basically formed in their growth system into what would be like a building inside of this grove. And there are various, wirewood vines flowing into it as Enzo goes, I'll take you to see the bishop, and as you talk to her, I will go gather some desserts and treats for you all as thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Enzo.
My thanks.
And as he leads you through, you see a lot of there seems to be multicolored wires and steel plates emerging from the wood that has been painted and glazed and styled, and you see these kind of mosaics growing out of the trees, just showing images of very much naturescapes that have augmentations to them. Lots of naturescapes. You see the symbols of the cogged snowflake everywhere, and just lots of depictions of if you've ever seen those Japanese kind of walls where it's got the paintings on the paper doors and stuff. It's like that, but made out of wood. And
wood painting.
Yeah, they're kind of wood paintings. And as you move through the building, at the center of it is just a vast sea of these wires that lead into a central. It's kind of like a giant set of bright blue flower petals that have formed kind of a like a cocoon in the center of the room that the various wires flow into. And the petals themselves have hundreds, maybe thousands of like very minute wires flowing through them themselves. And Enzo will drop to a knee before this blossom and kind of bow his head. And we will not expect you guys to do anything if you don't want to do it.
I will curtsy back. I will bow back.
Yeah,
It's only polite.
I'll do a bow.
Okay. And then you hear Enzo say, most blessed bishop, these travelers found me as I was cleaning the graffiti outside of the grove and provided their assistance without asking for anything in return and without connection to the faith. And so I felt that it would be appropriate for them to see you and receive your blessing while I also gather the treats that they requested as a bit of compensation.
Oh, thank you.
And you hear a voice kind of echo throughout the walls of this building, and it just says, "Thank you, Deacon. I will heed your request and lay my eyes personally upon these travelers." And Enzo bows and kind of slinks off and gives you guys kind of a thumbs up. And
Thumbs up back to Enzo.
the cocoon begins to open as you see the petals just slowly unfurl around a central form, and rising from within this is a incredibly tall, like 8-foot tall woman who in turn is unfolding herself from within this, and she is very, very like ethereal in kind of her appearance, as she has these very flowing white robes with the cog and blue like crystal or sapphire snowflake symbol clasping them together. And her skin is a very like light shade of blue, kind of like a powder blue maybe. And she has these I would say short cut, but it's not really cut. She has very short, like bright blue, like the cocoon, like almost like vibrantly electrically blue, like petals that have formed kind of like a bob, like hairstyle. And there appears to be slots all along the visible parts of her skin where there are like steel thorns that have inlaid themselves into her skin, and her eyebrows are these like very long, almost like World of Warcraft elf eyebrows, but made of like a petal.
And they come off the face, right?
Yeah, they come off the face to the sides, and long pointed ears, and her face, and much like her skin, is, if you ever look up what Shodan looks like in System Shock 2, where but instead of it being like digital language coming down, it's very much like these thin wires flowing delicately through her skin. She doesn't have like obvious augmetics like Enzo does, but it seems like her whole body is augmented in some way, as her eyes are just these bright glowing blue orbs amidst a sea of darker blue, and with more of those thorns kind of forming a bit of a cradle from her ears and down her chin to form one right below her lips, as she, at her full stature, looks down at you guys. And you see the various wires and cables within the room all connect directly to her skin. And she makes a symbol with her hands, which is like vaguely like snowflake shaped, as she smiles to each of you, and goes, "It is a great honor that travelers were willing to lend assistance to our congregation out of the goodness of their own hearts. I am the Bishop Sinirosa, and I thank you for your assistance." Feng, you have never seen this particular race of being before. You can make a knowledge nature check if you want to try and learn it on your own.
Sure.
Nafisa, you've actually met one of these before.
14.
All right, so Feng, you are not familiar with it. They do appear to be obviously very plant-like. Maybe they're Fey related. But Nafisa, you know that this is a nightshade. It is a type of plant being that exists. They're generally very rare, especially in cities, because they're plant people, and they generally don't like cities. But they usually will have a vaguely female presentation, but there are male presenting ones as well, and they are generally considered very closely tied to druidism and other natural scapes. The one nightshade you're familiar with was not a Vanyaskin, so she looked very different. But you do know that this is a nightshade. They are kind of shape-shifting plant people.
So, what kind of treats are on the table for us, Abs?
Is there
Quick,
anything
Vanyaskin,
before you get your treats? Is there anything you wish to say to the bishop?
I like your petal eyebrows. They're very pretty.
Feng-chen.
I think for a moment Feng is just... She has a technology special interest crush. It's like not even like I am attracted to this person. It's like, oh. I feel like she forgets for a moment, right. I am talking with someone. My apologies. I have not seen anyone so thoroughly integrated before. It is a marvelous feat of engineering. Voice cracking a little bit.
Sinirosa smiles beatifically at the two of you as her glowing blue eyes kind of look at the both of you, and she goes, "I have passed significantly on the path of transcendence. I find myself communing with the goddess evermore. But all things are a blessing to those who are willing to work and to create more goodness and more benefit to this world. You both have exhibited a sampling of this behavior in your own ways, and I thank you for it."
Of course, I feel regardless of faith that it should be a basic duty of those who are alive to make better the lives of those that surround them.
Yes, yes, helping people is good. My friend said lots of good, mainly the word good, but yes, we like to do good and also like do have good. She's like still eyeing the direction of treats.
She kind of chuckles a bit, and it's a very musical chuckle. As
Auto-tuned chuckling.
yes, that would probably be the best way to describe it. It's very auto-tuned chuckle. As you feel a pulse of energy in the room, just very subtly, and she then will look at you and say, "Enzo will be returning soon. I believe they are called Canolo."
That sounds wonderful. I believe I am familiar. I'm not correcting her.
Says, "Well, it is rare to see outsiders so open to our faith. If you ever require assistance, please feel free to come by once more. And know that the goddess blesses those who create in this world, as I will bless you." And she just closes her eyes and makes a praying motion as wires rise up out of the floor and flow into her hands as she does it. And you guys feel a kind of like electrical buzz on the skin sensation just ever so briefly. And then the wires begin to fade away, and you guys have been blessed, presumably. And as she does that, Enzo arrives with a plate that has a bunch of cannoli on it.
Ooh. Cannoli. Nafisa's gonna like try one with this. There's not like a whole lot, right?
Yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
it's one for each of you plus Nyx.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, with that she goes, "Unfortunately, I must return to my communion, but I'm sure that Enzo can handle anything that you may require."
One question, if I may,
One
before
for
you
each of
take
us.
your
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry. Go.
all right. One question, if I may, before you take your leave. Is it acceptable if I were to attempt to offer the embrace of augmentics for those unable or unwilling to accept a tree? I seek to provide such to spread my craft as best I can, but I care little to be a imposing force.
She smiles and goes, "Of course, to create is to embetter the world and embetter yourself. We provide our own charitable augmentations as a act of goodwill to the less fortunate of this city. When I had first come over with the Red Snowflake during the Great Liberation Wars, I provided succor and assistance to many wounded soldiers and civilians as effects of that conflict. It is not the full panoply of blessings that I can provide, but it is not our will to see those suffer who we can help embetter in our own way."
Excellent. And I have no further questions, although Nafisa, it sounded like you did.
Yes, I'm sorry if Mr. Enzo explained it already, but why are the people putting mean things on your grove? You all
She
seem very nice, and there are nice people in the city.
she kind of looks a bit sad and goes, Faith is made great inroads, but there are those that still do not understand who we are. I simply hope to enlighten them in time. And with that, she starts kind of curling up into a fetal position. And she smiles at you guys, and you begin to see the petals begin to basically fold back over her into the cocoon.
Yes, now it's time for her to rest. So, Fang, what are you going to do now?
Well, truthfully, I I feel parts of me did not expect to make it this far. If I am being wholly honest. But for my own grand plan of great works, I do need to set myself a standard of success so that I can prove it to any detractors. Suppose that might mean trying to set up shop here. In the more immediate, however, I would quite dearly love to find myself a new radio, as I think I only have perhaps an hour before Professor Yao goes on.
Oh, a professor like Jacob! Yes, I think I saw some cafes with her, some restaurants with her radios, and there's probably one at the hotel. We could, like, maybe eat more cannolis and listen.
I think that sounds wonderful. Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
So
Thank you for having us, Enzo.
Enzo smiles and bows and goes, May the goddess watch over you and bless your path. And with that, we jump over to Soleil, my man. What are you doing?
That's a good question because, as always, a stranger in a strange land. However, I think having met Lunas and getting a glimpse of the implied power that he has, I do think Soleil would try to seek him out, to have a one-on-one conversation with him, without the overbearing mothers present.
Gotcha.
to sway the conversation. So I think he would try to kind of meander about and just seeing if he can catch wind of Lunas being out and about.
Okay. As you walk out and about throughout Venogna, you eventually get down to the lower spires where, it takes a couple hours wandering around this massive city, but eventually you see, you hear Lunas far before you see him. As he is just doing like random acts of charity. You see him like there's a car with a pop tire, and he's lifting up he's like lifting up the car by himself as as a woman changes the tire, and then you see like a kid on a bike starting to like jaywalk as a car speeding by, and he like springs into action and like just physically lifts up the bike and child and puts them on the other side of the street. And everyone,
the same thing for a grandma trying to cross the road, just picks up the grandma.
Yep.
Takes her across the road.
And he just thanks them all as he does it and stuff. And it was just everyone just kind of like astounded by this guy. Like some people take pictures and stuff of him, but he's mostly just walking around town, just being nice.
Oh, he's such a good bean. I think Soleil would call out to him, just like, Lunas, over here.
Oh, my rival! Hello, Soleil, as he comes striding forward, throwing back his cape.
Oh my god. Good to see you out and about doing some dare and do, I see.
Whenever I'm in town, I try to provide as much goodness as I can, helping the less fortunate, helping the weak and downtrodden face down the villainies of their days.
You know what? I actually kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about something along those lines. If I can tempt you to put a pause in your good deeds for a moment for a bit of a conversation.
He kind of swoops forward and puts his hand in that L shape at his chin as he looks at you scrutinizingly and goes, I shall pause for but a moment, but know that every moment you occupy my time is one less moment that I have to protect this fair city.
Duly noted, but I promise I'll make it worth your while. You see, I wanted to... Well, I know that there was a bit of a conversation about you coming with us to, travel and adventure and whatnot, and it seemed like your moms weren't too keen on the idea, but I thought I might speak to you one-on-one, man-to-man, about a certain situation I think you might be interested in. You see, with all of your do-gooding, fighting against villainy, I've got a particular set of villains that I think might interest you in vanquishing, that is. To be fully transparent, my grandmother, she's in a bit of a bind. Quite literally and metaphorically speaking. She's under the control of several villainous beings, and it's my task to slay them, free her. And I thought that my powers and your powers combined, I think we could make quick work of it.
Really? Villainous beings? Your grandmother?
Yes. And...
sorry?
It's quite important to me, you see. I don't have a lot of family left, you understand?
I'm sorry to hear that you have found yourself bereft of family. I, too, understand the burden that it is of having limited family members in this world that can be so dark and so bleak for those in need. Please regale me with tales as to how your grandmother found herself in such a perilous predicament.
She didn't really go into many of the sordid details, to be quite honest. just that it seems that in her attempts to live her own life, a lot of villains took advantage of that. And now
Those, forgive my
trapped.
language, scoundrels taking advantage of a poor old woman in her moment of need. Truly, truly tragic.
I love that Obs and I can't keep a straight face as we're playing this out.
This is so good.
It's because it's ecstasy.
So perfect.
But I am disheartened to hear that a member of your own family has found herself the victims of oppressive power structures. The classic patriarchy in action, unfortunately.
So true, brother. So can I count on you then? Can I count on your help in this?
I would not count myself as much of a paladin, as much as a champion of justice, as much as a purveyor of righteousness. If I were to simply sit by and watch as elderly, disadvantaged women are taken advantage of by oppressive men seeking to victimize them for their own cruel designs. Unfortunately, my assistance will have to be delayed. I have found myself deeply intertwined in my own affairs of tyrannical overthrowing. Unfortunately, my bard, the wonderful Lady Day that you would become acquainted with, she has seen fit that there are certain quests that I must undertake so that she may record them and ensure that my legacy is preserved and spread far and wide. And unfortunately, they currently occupy my time, but not my heart, dear Soleil, not my heart, for I have found it deeply moved by your beseechment. When the time comes, seek me out, seek my blade, and seek my soul, and I will bring both to bear to assist you in striking down these evil overlords.
That's quite all right, Lunas. As a matter of fact, I'm between slaying evildoers. I'm kind of waiting for the sign from my grandma about the next one. And he kind of looks up at the sky and he goes, "She's not dead. She's not dead. I'm just waiting for a sign. That's all."
I was confused for a moment.
So I suppose once I have that sign of the next target, I can seek out your sword.
I said my blade. I do not find myself needing a sword when I have. He gestures his hand and that enormous, now that he's full-sized again, it's probably a good 10-foot spear. Forming into his forms into his hand. But trust me, it casts aside darkness. It plunges aside the wickedness of others, and it will pierce through any who would seek to resist the righteous hand of fate. So do not fear, my dear Soleil, for these blades and this arm, as he flexes, but he's wearing armor. But you see the armor kind of bulge. Will be by your side.
Well then, I suppose in the meantime, I'll have to come up with some heroic efforts of my own so I can regale them when we next meet. And he'll flex back.
To be clear, there's these two 7-foot tall men just flexing on the fucking sidewalk in the middle of the city. They form a bubble. Ludus generates a bubble anywhere he goes because he's just so Ludus. But
it's just like someone getting mugged in the background while they're focused on flexing.
Exactly. But he kind of taps you on the chest a bit. And one thing you notice is kind of odd when he taps you on the chest. It doesn't feel like metal. Like it feels hard, but not metal. As he gives you kind of a wry smile and goes, "Indeed, I expect my rival to have amassed a suitable amount of heroic deeds of his own if he wishes to stand side by side with a warrior such as I. Do you think that you can rise to the challenge?"
I can certainly do my best to rise to any challenge you might issue, Lunas.
Yeah, he does a big fangy smile as he extends out one of his arms and goes, "Ha! Don't let anything hard get in your way. I'm sure when the time comes you'll be able to pin it down and..."
Stop!
Oh, they're just gonna make out! Make out!
and bring it to its knees. As he just smiles at you, entirely oblivious to the double entendre that he's saying.
Soleil is... You can't see his face. He's a little flabbergasted. But just well then, most certainly look forward to our next encounter with bated breath.
Do you grab his hand or arm in return?
Of course. The classic, muscled forearm hand
You
grab.
son of a bitch.
Can we just roll it can be a huge number, like a D100. I just want to see I feel like there's got to be a chance you accidentally grab his dick instead. Right?
He's wearing armor.
Yeah, but it's doesn't feel like armor.
I mean, Soleil could find a way.
He as you lock arms with him in the that kind of warrior grab, he gives you that smile as he looks at you and winks and goes, "You've got a good grip. I'm sure you can handle plenty in those hands."
The player needs a moment to collect himself. I think Soleil will return a equally cocky grin and a head tilt and just say,
"Wording.
Wouldn't you like to know?"
Of course.
This guy is so fucked. This guy is so fucked.
Well, I look forward to seeing you again, my rival. Hopefully you've gotten a good handle of things and can properly mount your own destiny.
I like to think of myself a pretty good mounter, so I think I'll be just fine.
Well, then I guess I'm in for the ride of a lifetime.
You guys don't understand how it is to go from the horny cat girl from last campaign to the girl that can't say half the shit.
Listen, I was repressed as Juby for so long.
You have
power Adobe free
to allow Nafisa to say fuck.
Sorry, Nafisa's PG-13. She's only allowed one fuck per campaign to keep it under an R rating.
One per arc. Gotta make it work.
But yeah, and with that, Ludus will give you a set of finger guns and throw back his cloak once more, as he will then begin to it's not moonwalk, but he seems to be hovering backwards from you as he just has his hands on his hips now, laughing triumphantly as he passes through the crowd who's trying to make a bubble around him.
Oh man, Soleil is gonna watch him go, and just for the sake of brevity and censorship, he's got a very active imagination right now. Like after that exchange.
This man did not see any of that coming.
No, but I think I think after that, even though he's a little disappointed that he couldn't get Lunas's help right away, he's satisfied with the knowledge that he is open and willing to help with his patron slaying escapades. So
you would be happy with the knowledge that he's willing and open.
Yes, indeed.
All right. With that, we will wrap up the day in Venogna.
Oh my god!
What a note to wrap up.
What a way to end.
This is the last time you guys get to see Lunas for a good long time, so I'm glad.
Boy.
I'm glad you enjoyed. I got to do all of that before he disappears.
I'm keeping his spot on the bench warm. Don't you worry.
Yep,
I have to once again flash the Lunas smile for chat to see.
Please do. He's so cute.
That's our guy.
That's our boy.
That's our boy.
How big do you think it is? I mean, obviously he's
real questions here.
He's a shapeshifter, so
well,
like
you know,
but...
stay tuned for Nexus After Dark.
This is why we're getting the OnlyFans.
Yep. I would just call it Fade to Black. That'd be the name of my OnlyFans for it.
Oh, that would be good though.
But yeah, we'll be concluding things here for the night. It's a little bit early, but that is the way of the world. Just want to say thank you guys for coming out and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, the World of Alcala, for the raid. If you want, you should go check out all of these wonderful players in their various socials and streaming services. They're good beans, certified good beans. Many of them are currently doing or about to do their own campaigns. I am currently playing in one that Sif is running, that's Curse of Strahd. And I'm also playing in one that B is running, which is the Deadlands setting. So like the Weird West, where I play a kooky inbred sorceress. And I will be having to say this is my last stream for the next at least 2 months. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. I want you to know that you're all beautiful, amazing, and valid people. And I hope you guys enjoyed spending your night with me nearly as much as I enjoyed spending it with you. You guys, if you also haven't done so already, please give me a follow here on Twitch, a sub over on YouTube, where you could watch all the episodes of this campaign, as well as all the Origin episodes. Follow me on Twitter to hear my unhinged rants about anime, art, and D&D. And you can join my Discord, the Eternal Citadel, and be a part of my incredible community. It means the world to me that you guys have stuck with me this long. I'm not going away forever. I'm getting my facial feminization surgery, or at least the first half of it. And so I'll just be out of commission for a bit for that, but I'll be back stronger than ever, more bimboed out than you ever thought possible. And we'll be back here with more of these goofballs and their horny dragon double entendres.
Hey, don't talk about Nafisa like that.
We are going to go raid a certified cute bean, Calliope Alande. She's a cute tiefling VTuber. She's currently playing a game called Ad Infinitum. I don't know anything about it, but it looks kind of neat. She's a sweetheart. And let's go send her some love. She is also involved in the D&D space, so it's adjacent enough. But yeah, have a great night, everybody. If you're a follower, copy down the call to hugs. If you're a sub, please copy down the Knight's message. And I will see you again soon. Bye!
Bye!